Da, 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. Let people know I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, they can be interesting. For myself, possibly for the few giggles and the audience that does come in and watch me struggle, fumble over myself, and make realizations quite often that sometimes it is just in getting started. Yeah, it's a miracle I am here on time. I have put myself to task to put myself on a little schedule, right? Thinking it's light, but having expectations in those timings that I am going to get specific things done. It's a new challenge that I've put myself in, or maybe I've challenged myself in to see that it could be done. And just I would say an hour ago, I was resigned that I was going to fail in this task, at least for today, right? I would have got up, brushed my knees off, and I would have tried again, maybe later on this afternoon. I would say probably not if I'm going to be honest in that, because sometimes in our frustrations, it's like in that game of Monopoly, you would sit on game night with your family. And I don't know about your family. I come from a very dynamic family, but we were very competitive in that. And if somebody was doing really, really bad in their frustration, they would take both ends of that playboard and they would take all that money, all those game pieces, everything, and they would just go, fine, I'm done. This is stupid. And these, I think, are some of those feelings that stall me out, that make it so that I procrastinate in what I do, or at the very least, that I am my own what do you call that, instigator in what's going on with me. It wasn't really something I recognized to the extent of what I'm actually doing and how much I am actually distracting myself. So I came up with a couple of tricks of it in the process of noticing that I was being distracted. So I think I'll do more of those because in the end, it saved my butt. Oh my goodness. I had to apply for my employment insurance today. I do believe that I am deserving of it. And, maybe come under the guidelines of being covered. Wouldn't that be a miracle for me that I could actually go at my pace rather than feel that? And that's another lesson. The hairy, scary, the worry, the stress that even in what I was doing today was the evidence that it's sometimes and probably more often again being that instigator, right? That I am causing my own miseries, my own grief in that. And I'm pretty sure that I am in that. Hello, Hannah. Thank you so much for popping into my life. So let me just talk a little bit about what I was up to today. I'm trying to put myself on a little bit of a schedule, not having that job that puts the roof over my head. I find it's probably the most responsible thing for me to do in that sure footedness that I know is necessary in order to, right, get yourself out of a sticky situation or to advance in a space where you can see that maybe you could put yourself in a better situation. Kind of that idea, God helps those who help themselves. I'm not a religious person, but I understand that, these quotes, these saying, these Bible verses, that they are important, and if you believe in them or not, it doesn't make them less true just because, you're not a religious person, or you're not a spiritual person, or you're not this person or that person, that you delve into topics that you don't understand. But that's that dynamics that is so crucial for each of us to make a little bit of movement. You can't do it. This is something that I'm coming to recognize. I was so determined to show everybody that it could be done by yourself, that you didn't need anybody. But that's not the case. I'm grateful for this digital age, and I'm grateful for the lessons of Google, the lessons here on YouTube that help me out, that give me that information just to even recognize that, right? That we will go extinct as a human race if the majority thinks that way. That is dangerous thinking. And again, in the lessons that I'm getting today, right, that first part that I had scheduled in for myself at that hour, and I picked well in that lesson, because in moving forward in the course of my day, I recognize the things that I do worry about, the things that I stress about, those things that trigger me, and those things that make me want to take that Monopoly board game and go, that's it. I'm done with this. This is stupid. That's the pushback. And if you've hung out with me for any length of time, I move with that pushback. It's right. It's interesting how it comes across my path or comes up before me. But I recognize in my struggles that if I just push a little bit against that push, it doesn't mean in a cruel, unkind way, Monopoly board, where everybody's enjoying it except for you, because in your frustration of not understanding in the moment. But if I had pushed through that struggle, right, and I rolled that dice and I happened onto the chance spot, and it says collect everybody's money. And in that instant, all those worries could be over, all those stresses could be over. And the lesson being, right, what we were what we what were we worrying about to start with? It is just in the movement. Oh my goodness, I was having a hard time getting some government forms, getting registered, right? This is not a process I have done in a very long time. But I can honestly tell you, but when I was doing that, I probably was quite an expert in filling out these kind of forms and fighting for my rights and right, and not following the rules of the game, just making the game work to my needs, because in my needs and my worries and my stress that I was making not a small task, right? When you're working with that officiality, it's none of that is small tasks. But to do it in a way that you don't stop yourself, you don't stall yourself, you don't, right? You're not doing take this and rah, 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 to the government, right? And I move in the majority. I just do. I will always move in the majority. But in that allowance to myself, and in that protection of my own set of boundaries, and that movement that I make through my values, right? I get to make choices within that, and I can buffer. I find I can buffer things, so when that pushback comes at me, I just keep going. And when I'm thinking I can't get this form and I can't get this verification and I can't get through this next barrier, that if I just keep going and I look at the clock and I'm going, oh my goodness, my schedule, right? What am I supposed to be doing at 10 o'clock? And I'm still searching out forms and trying to get verified and trying to get which was the task before, the hardest task off of my plate. That's what I'm trying to do. Get the hardest task of the day off of my plate. I was saying, okay, what is my 9 to 10 was tackle the hardest to do on my list, which was what I was doing. But in that frustration of wanting to throw the game board up in the air and have all those pieces and right, take this, forget this, I'll do this another day. And I probably wouldn't, because I would have recognized how frustrating it was. And that I don't want to go back into that again. And I would procrastinate, right? And I would distract myself by whatever needs possible. So, in seeing that I was purposely distracting myself because I'm doing stuff that I really don't want to be doing, but nobody can do this stuff for me. This is personal government. This is stuff for me, right? Nobody can do that for me anyway. I have to do that. So I sacrificed my 9 to 10, which was a house chore. And I said, well, okay, I can give that up because right in my procrastination and in my distractions, I got a little bit ahead of the game because I need that sense of feeling that I've accomplished. So you know what? I can give that up. That's all good. My house is good. The house chores I can get ready for the day. Oh my goodness. If I can fly by the seat of my pants, maybe I could shower and get dressed and be ready for my life. Right. But in my mind, I looking at the clock and going, there's not a chance. I can't get in. I can't get verified. I can't get through this barrier. But I'm sacrificing the time. I'm not stopping because I know if I stop in that state of mind that I was in, I would have stopped. That would have been it for the very least for the day. I would have brushed my knees off knowing that nobody could do this for me, and I would have been back at it. But I would have set it in for my schedule for tomorrow, that same hour. But I think in scheduling it and knowing how much work I put it in today, I might have given it a little bit more time. But I did pretty good at paying attention. And I'm here at 11 o'clock. So I am on schedule. Surprisingly, 20 minutes. I was going back in to, right? I had downloaded the forms. I got into the sites that I needed. I was going back into my applications to refill them. But I would have been doing it rushing, frustrating, feeling good that I had accomplished that I pushed through that, but disappointed in myself because I wasn't on time for my promise to myself, that commitment that I would show up because it's on my schedule, that I would be here at 11 a.m. Do my live show. After my live show, I'm going to clean my desk and I'm going to have some lunch and I'm going to feel so much better. But am I going to go back into those applications and finish that process today? No, I gave it, right? I gave it some time. Tonight, on my own time, I may choose to do that. If I am optimistic and I want to get a little bit ahead of the game, I want to be happy and have that sense of accomplishment, maybe I'll come in tonight and put an hour in my own time. But I am on schedule right now. So we're going into the next task. Like I said, after my live show, we're going to make some lunch. I'm going to clean my desk to get ready for the next task. The next task is I'm going to do some writing, a little bit of copyright, and I want to post to my community post once a week at the very latest. And I don't want it to be fluff. So I want to put some energy in it and I want to put some love into it and I want it to be good topics. Maybe today I'll write a little bit about, right, my distractions and how I worked with it and how I'm working with it. I'm kind of proud of myself, right? Nothing, no fireworks, nothing to show for it, no accomplishment in the moment, but that ball is rolling and I'm keeping those promises to myself at the very, if I had failed in this, like I said, it would have been a failure, but I would have dusted my knees off. I would have tried again, probably tomorrow, right? But why that saying, why put off tomorrow what you can do today? So after my lunch today, I'm going to spend an hour writing. If I can accomplish whatever I decide to write in that hour, I will post it within that hour, because I have an hour. If not, at 2 p.m., I'm going to get myself a fresh drink. I'm going to do some light work, maybe connecting with others, whether it's family or other people online, if anybody, right? I'll go into my messages, I'll check my emails at that time in those connections that I have with others. And then I'm going to set a plan, right, for my next day. So I'm going to make the schedule for tomorrow exactly the way I did it today. It worked. It worked. Right. We're only at 11. We're only at the 10 a.m. task. We're not at the 10 a.m. I got ready. I'm ready. I'm here. We're at 11. Do my live show. We're there. Right. The day is moving through. Okay, let's see what Hannah says. I'm off to the senior center. Have a wonderful day, Cindy. Big love and bless you. Thank you, Hannah. You have an amazing day. And thank you again for popping into my lives and giving me that little bit of time, right? That time of yours is precious. And it should go to a good space, whether that space is a conversation, right? Sitting and spending time with somebody who could use your time, or maybe it is in getting that task done or pushing up against what's pushing you. It worked for me today. I'm on schedule. I thought I wasn't going to do it. I thought I had failed myself. A half an hour, if you asked me, I went, oh my goodness, but I'll try again tomorrow. And I would have brought the good cheer on, and I would have smiled, and right, I would have come into my live as ASAP as I could, so I could stay as close to my timings as I could. And then I would have gone right back in. But what would have happened? Well, we would have ran into the time of my writing, or I would have given up lunch. I probably would have given up my lunch, right? And in that space of just taking a breather, because that's why lunch is scheduled there, because I'm coming out of, right, getting the hardest part of my task, which in the house chore, it would have helped to disperse that energy too and get me set up for my next task, which was going live. But it worked out. It worked out anyway. I'm in a little bit of a challenge. I think I'm going to stay in it probably for the rest of the week. We'll see. We're going to play it by ear. We're going to see how it goes. Definitely the schedule. We're in the schedule for the week. I need some kind of scheduling because, again, I don't have that job that puts the roof over my head, but more importantly, that allowed me to ground in it so that I could bring myself back to the present and at the task at hand and work on that, right? So I don't have that job to work on. So we're going to work. It's all part of my brand. I explore the inside and the outside. And if this is a little bit of an obstacle in my life, we need to bite this in the butt. I knew I was a procrastinator, but I didn't understand. Well, I knew it was self sabotage too, and I knew that it was because I didn't want to be doing the task at hand. But in how I feel right now, in what I did manage to get accomplished, I'm grateful. I got it started. I was having a hard time getting it started, right? In that distraction that that I was doing something that was difficult. These kind of things are difficult for me, right? For some people, this is nothing. This is air, right? For me, sometimes it is in that ask that it is so difficult for me. And then I admire people like my sister who just has no, all of my sisters are that way, right? For me, oh my goodness, I'm hiding behind a bush waiting for somebody else to do it for me. Nobody can do this for me except for me. Okay, you guys, I think that's going to settle for right this moment. Let's just grab a powerful word. Um, Maybe it'll help me get into the next task. Maybe I'll with a little bit of clarification for my day so far. But my day is moving. I'm ready to go. And not only am I ready to go, I'm actually going and I have been. So I'm pretty good with that. And like I said, I may come back into that biggest task at hand because I only gave it an hour. Probably could have used 2 hours, but I only gave it an hour. I may go into that, but if I go into that, it's going to be after my schedule on my own time, just to better set me up for tomorrow. Right? And anything I can take off my plate for tomorrow, that just means something else I can schedule on that place. Okay, you guys, let's just pick a word. 54 powerful words. If you've never hung out with me before, these are powerful words. These are I would say action words. They are. And they're meant to help me to take notice of sometimes of things that I don't notice. It's an opportunity, right? That something will come to the surface in the process of pulling that one card, and it might help me in my day, in my moment, or might help somebody else. You never know. Here, you guys, this is the card. Wow. I'm going to grab my book for this because I didn't write anything about vision. But you know what? Vision, and because it is my first perspective, that vision is something from the future, right? It doesn't necessarily that it's a dream. It could be. Doesn't mean it's a goal. It could be. Uh, it doesn't mean, right, that you're psychic. It just means having an ability to leave yourself open to something else. And usually, with that, if I'm looking at vision for myself and that vision isn't set there, right? Because sometimes it's there and we're just, all we have to move, all we have to do is move to it. What I do is, what is my goals? What would I like? What would I like to accomplish? Right? What's the mission, right? The vision. What's the mission for the moment? What's the vision for the moment? What's the vision for what you're going to accomplish at the end of the day? What's my vision for doing this little, I don't know. It's a battle plan. It's how it was referred to. So I think I'm going to vision it as a battle plan for myself, something that possibly if I put it to action, if I put that energy into it, that maybe, right? Maybe it can turn into something where I actually have a vision of it helping, that I have a vision of it working. I have a vision of it being the evidence, right? That this could help, right? And you know, if you're creative, right? And that can be a crafter, because a crafter would understand this word vision, because you see what you want to do in your mind's eye in whatever project that you want to work on. But you understand it takes more than just having that vision, and it's okay to have that vision without having that action going on, right? You could have an action plan going on that doesn't have any action in it. But sometimes that vision is the buildup of the excitement because it's something you aspired to. It's something that you imagined. It's something you dreamed up. It's something you would like for yourself, right? But just like those forms that I was having such a hard time, right, getting my hands on. Nobody was going to be able to do that for me. It's like jumping hoops in order to get government information. It is, and rightfully so. And I am grateful for those securities in my life that make me feel that my personal is protected in that way. But a vision is never realized unless you put that action, unless you move towards that. And when you move towards that, of course, there's going to be pushbacks and problems and failures and wrenches in the engines and people giving you side eyes and conversations about you're never going to be able to accomplish that. Well, no, you're not unless you put that action towards that, unless you push up a little bit against what's pushing you. And I did that a little bit today. I wanted to give up, right? I wanted to give up. I saw my life was coming to timings and I wanted to stay on my schedule and I managed to get those forms that I needed. I got those verification. I'm moving forward again. But in this moment, like I said, that allotted time for that is done and we're going to fit it in tonight on my own time. If I feel that right, we need to get on top of that a little bit ahead of the game. If not, it can wait tomorrow. That ball is rolling now. That movement is going on, but none of that would have happened, right? If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for that energy that I put in to get that done, distractions or not. Okay, you guys. That's my good chair. Thank you for popping into my live. I'm just going to pop down here for one more sec. You guys have a great day, and we'll see